Dressage is based on thousands of years of knowledge of training a horse for battle. Xenophon actually wrote his treatise called On Horsemanship around 350 BC, and many of those principles are still in use today. So we went from training horses for battle to dressage, and it's all based on what movements were necessary in the battle to survive, actually. And so the rider and the horse have to communicate. The rider communicates with the horse using aids. Those aids are the legs, the back, the seat, his balance, hands, and voice, and then sometimes the whip and sometimes spurs. You're not allowed to talk to your horse. You can't talk to your horse's back. It doesn't work. So equestrian events first appeared in the Olympics in 1900 in Paris, but dressage wasn't its own event until the 1912 Games in Stockholm. This is Karl Bond. He won on Emperor, and if you notice, he's in military dress, and that's because until the 1952 Games, only commissioned officers were allowed to compete in the equestrian events. This is Liz Hartel of Denmark. She was the first Olympic equestrian female medalist, and she competed on Jubilee and won the silver in the 1952 Games. This is a diagram of the standardized international dressage rank. So all the letters, everyone memorizes them, and the riders have to begin and end any of their movements at these letters, and they're judged on how precise and how accurate they are in terms of getting the horse to do movements at the right time. This is supposed to be, there it is, a list of the 8 levels of dressage. All the lower levels are standardized tests. Everyone does the same thing. It's really boring. The Grand Prix is what they do at the Olympics, and they're allowed to make their own routines to music. It's kind of like a gymnast skill routine. This is kind of the training priorities and the judging priorities. The most important one is rhythm. That's what's on the bottom. If you don't have a good rhythm, you can't keep your horse in line, you're not going to get any of the rest of the stuff. So there are 3 gaits in a dressage test. The first is the walk. It's like any 4-legged animal walks, one foot in front of the other. The important thing to note is that the horse's head has to be vertical throughout the whole test, so it needs to be perpendicular to the ground, and that shows that he's relaxed, and he's balanced, and he's willing to work with his rider. This is a trot. 2-beat gait, so the opposite legs move in parallel. This is a collected trot. Now you're seeing an extended trot. You can see his legs are much further out. He's covering a lot more ground, and it's a lot more difficult, takes more energy, so it's an advanced movement. This is a picture of the canter. 3-beat gait, so you've got a 4-legged animal doing a 3-beat gait. It's a little unbalanced. And this is what the extended canter looks like. It basically looks like he's galloping across. You never actually see a gallop in a dressage test, and that was really quick. This is one of the specialized movements of Grand Prix dressage. It's called a half pass, so he's at a trot, and notice his back legs are crossed. He's basically going diagonal across the arena without changing he's still facing forward. And then now you'll see the canter pirouette. Obviously in battle this would be useful for turning on a dime basically. And if you notice the horse's left hind leg is basically just moving up and down. It's not really going anywhere. So he's doing that properly. This is also performed at the canter. These are called flying changes or tempi changes. Now since the canter is a 3-beat gait, one of his front legs always carries more weight. And so he's changing it. Yeah, it looks a little funny. But the rider does that using his balance and his legs. This is one of the more difficult movements. It's called the passage, and it's a bouncy, bouncy trot. And this is actually weighted double what all the other movements are weighted, because it's hard to make it do that. It looks silly. And it always goes right into this next movement, which is called the piaffe, and just dancing in place. That's what they do. And this was used in battle to keep the horse warm and focused and keep it ready to go when it needs to go charge someone. So finally, all dressage tests end with a halt and a salute. The halt, the horse has to put all 4 hooves perfectly square, his head still needs to be down, and the rider salutes by dropping her hand and bowing her head, and then she's done, and everyone, the horse gets a pat, and everyone is happy. And there you go. That's short history of dressage, and